the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
'87 Sports Fans live at Late Night Sports Radio. It's 11 o'clock, kids, Eastern Time, and you know what that means. It's time for the NFL Hour, and that means I'm always joined by Jim Saranteas, the Fantasy Greek himself, from thefantasygreek.com. Jim, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, Keith, how are you?
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
It's just another Monday night, I suppose.
Well,
The
East Coast has been absolutely hammered by
I thought life sucked here in Chicago, but I would not want to be on the East Coast.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty god awful. And so I have been shoveling constantly the last 24. Go to work all day, come home, barely get up the driveway. The usual. So right now my back is on fire. So I need a bacchiotomy.
Dude, you need to invest in a snowblower. Seriously.
My neighbor took pity on me today and came down because all the plow going down the road. We live right on a main road. And the plow just dumped like there's like 2-inch patches, 2-inch thick patches of ice where my driveway meets the road because I couldn't get it all up. But, me and the wife were trying to take care of business and go get a snowblower because we thought we could make it without one, and we learned the hard way. And naturally, all that's left at Lowe's is the $1,100 Cadillacs.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't need any of that. So.
Yeah. Well, can't you go online or something? There's got to be, something reasonably priced out there.
Yeah, she's in the process of overthinking the problem right now. So
God bless her.
I'm just trying to I'm okay, sure, because I don't want to get divorced before the summer.
We don't want any of that.
No, we don't want none of that. So let's we're gonna call this a freeform episode, where I'm just gonna pick what the first thing I see on my screen, and we're gonna talk about it.
Okay,
sound good?
Yeah, I think that's a great plan. It's been a pretty decent news day. I mean, sort of. It depends what you're into, I guess. I know on my site I've got an article a short article, more of a press blurb from the Fantasy Greek on the Bills signing guard Richie Incognito. We got the charges that were dropped against the Panthers defensive end Greg Hardy. Those were dismissed. Those were domestic type issues. What else we got? We got an article on Vikings free agency. Minnesota's Mad Max Williams, dig this, could be the first tight end off the NFL draft board. And then 2014, I know you'll like this because we talked about it a little bit last season. I actually never published it, but this year I went ahead and did it. 2014 quarterback smacks. Blocking the big boys is never easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we could also. Well, you know what? Let's talk Seattle Seahawks. By the way,
I saw you did a nice article there.
Yep. It's up at 87sportsfans.com right now. The first of the NFC offseason colonoscopies. I will put every team under my microscope. And so my observation basically on the Seahawks to sum up the article without reading it word for word on the air, because how boring would that radio be? It was that while the Seahawks ended up on such a string, it wasn't really all that smooth, kids. Let's not forget that for the regular season. They did win 9 of their final 10 games. They've beaten the Panthers, the Eagles, the Cardinals twice, the Niners twice, and then in the final week of the season, they got revenge on the Rams, who had beaten them earlier in the year. And then in the playoffs, they pretty much cruised, and then they cruised by the Panthers anyway. And then they get to the Packers and win a game they absolutely had no business winning to get to the Super Bowl. And then we all know what happened in the Super Bowl. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. So looking forward, where we go in the offseason, the only unrestricted free agents they really have to worry about is left guard James Carpenter and cornerback Byron Maxwell, who isn't really a starter at this point. When healthy, the starters are Sherman and Richard Sherman and Jeremy Lane. And Maxwell didn't grade out all that well at Pro Football Focus. Defensive tackle Kevin Williams is on that list, but he's older than dirt, so I don't see that him being really a priority for the Seahawks. And, we all know about Marshawn Lynch being in the final year of his contract, and Pete Carroll says that they're working on an extension, but I don't know. Their offensive line really wasn't that good when you look at it. Right tackle Justin Britt struggled with pass blocking, and he was only average at run blocking. Carpenter, the unrestricted free agent, wasn't all that great at anything really. He was really low, really bad as a run blocker. J.R. Sweezy was terrible at run blocking as well. When your guards can't run block, you got problems. But if you're going to have a lackluster offensive line, then you need a running back like Marshawn Lynch that can make something out of nothing. Don't you agree?
Yes.
trying to get your thoughts here. Do you think the Seahawks let Marshawn Lynch go, or do they break the bank? Because if you're on a team that you really don't have many holes, you're just trying to get incrementally better at spots. So do you maybe pay a little more for a running back like Lynch if you're the Seahawks with their situation with their offensive line?
Here's the thing. When it comes to Marshawn Lynch, he's proven himself yet again this year. Doesn't look like a player that's slowing down, even though we know that sooner or later it will happen. He's 29. I think what you do is you line him up for a 2-year deal, which would get him to 31. Say $5 million a year, I think would be absolutely reasonable. And I don't know that he does any better anywhere else just because of the idea that he's almost done it. Why would he? I mean, the Seahawks should be able to make a few moves, a few deals to improve both that offensive line and fill some of the holes that they could have this offseason on defense, and be right back in the thick of things, to be brutally honest.
Well, it'll be clutch also if Brandon Mabane's hamstring comes back strong and ready to withstand a full season of punishment. Sometimes,
yeah. I mean, who in their division as of right now would you be worried of? I wouldn't be worried of the Rams. I wouldn't be worried. I hate to say it about the 49ers with the coaching changes, and the Cardinals. A lot is going to depend upon how Carson Palmer comes back, but they also have their own problems, especially along the offensive line, and they're going to lose a couple players on defense. They may rather not wish that they're going to lose, but we'll see.
We'll see how much Todd Bowles really mattered to that defense.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the team out of all those teams that I'm most worried about is the Rams, because they played tough football. I mean, they're not a good team when you look at the roster, but they played real tough football, and without a real, true, clear-cut number one quarterback, talent-wise, anyway. So with Sam Bradford, the price tag, I saw that some ungodly dollar amount attached to his name, how much it would cost the Rams to hold on to him. I can't see the Rams bringing him back. So where do they go from that in the draft? Do they maybe find a way to move up in the draft and either take Mariota or I don't think anybody's going to be able to get a shot at Winston, but it'll just be real curious to see what the Rams do in the offseason addressing the quarterback position.
Somehow, some way, I think Sam Bradford does return. And actually, I'm in the process of pulling up their salary cap metrics. If you give me a second here.
For you, the world.
Maybe that'll shed some light on everything, huh? But here's, you look at Sam Bradford, his body of work. It's just not that impressive, and I know he's been injured. But how do you get over that and say, well, Sam, you've proven yourself, and the reality is Sam has not. So he has a $16.6 million cap number. If they cut him loose, they'll take a hit of $3.6 million, but save close to $13 million. So I tend to agree with you. If they had to, I guess they could cut him. But if I'm Sam Bradford, I'm restructuring my contract. I'm not gonna risk getting out into the free market because the reality is there's not that many good quarterbacks, and I don't know that there's that many teams in need that would like to have him. I think they'd rather draft themselves a rookie.
Yeah, and just kind of grow them.
Yeah. He's not going to do much better. I mean, where could he go? I suppose he could go to the Buccaneers if they don't plan on holding on to McCown, but there's no indication that they're not.
Well, if you're the Rams, you're looking offensive line and quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are your two areas of disgust. You found a nice running back in Trey Mason. I think you've got the talent there. Brian Quick was a nice story at wide receiver. If you could find a way to use Tavon Austin, he's still a threat. He's got a lot of talent. He may not be the prototypical wide receiver, but he can be used, I believe, to be successful. So it's not a complete lost cause, but you got to have somebody reliable throwing the ball. Sam Bradford's probably one of the more tragic stories I can remember off the top of my head, with guys that just couldn't stay healthy long enough to do anything.
Indeed, and he might be in that last class of rookies that got that were under the old NFL bargaining agreement, where rookie quarterbacks. I can't recall if he was the first pick of his draft class or the second, but at that time he would have been paid a substantial amount of money compared to the slotted numbers that they now use for the draft classes. So now I'm looking at some of the teams that are likely going to be looking at quarterback. You know, the Bills could stick with E.J. Manuel, but they have absolutely no one behind him at this point. You've got the Jets, who have Geno Smith. Michael Vick's a free agent. The Browns, Brian Hoyer, he's a free agent. Johnny Manziel, I don't think they'll want to roll with Johnny Manziel in his second season after what we saw right at the tail end of his rookie season.
Well, what's your gut tell you if anybody would make an offer for Robert Griffin III?
Say that one more time. You broke up.
What's your gut tell you? Would anybody make an offer for Robert Griffin III?
I think so, if only because he at least had something to show from his first season, and it would have to be somebody that believed in him back when he was drafted as a rookie, saw something in him, but obviously wasn't in a position to draft him given his high draft pick. So it would be somebody like that who looks at him and says, I believed in him then, I believe him in him now. We can coach him, and we can coach him in our system. Who that is, I don't know.
Well, I'm blanking out. Where did Kyle Shanahan go again?
Oh, there's a good question, huh?
Yeah. I forgot. I'm totally blanking out. Let me look it up really quick.
You're so demanding. I'll beat you to it.
Atlanta Falcons. They don't need a quarterback.
Yeah, they don't need a quarterback. So they're all good.
For the most part.
For the most part. The Texans will likely be looking at someone, even though, they've got several quarterbacks on their roster right now, and they just need to make up their mind which direction they want to go in. The Titans, they've got Jake Locker, who's a free agent, Zach Mettenberger. If you believe in him.
I think they give Mettenberger another year.
They could.
I think you got to. He didn't play bad. He played like a rookie.
He did. You've got the Eagles that are in this precarious situation where they still have Nick Foles, but if the reports are true that the management of the Eagles don't care for him, then you've got Mark Sanchez, who's a free agent. So which direction are they going to go? I definitely don't think Matt Barkley's the answer over there.
No.
You got the Redskins. We've got who else? Well, the Vikings are going to stick with Teddy Bridgewater at least one more year. Plus, they'll get Matt Castle back, so that'll be interesting.